The deep. And I saw the storehouses of all the winds, and I saw how with them he has adorned all creation, and I saw the foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth, and I saw the four winds which support the earth and the sky. And I saw how the winds stretched out the height of heaven, and how they positioned themselves between heaven and earth. They are the pillars of heaven. And I saw the winds which turned the sky and caused the disk of the sun and all the stars to set. And I saw the winds on the earth which support the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of heaven above. And I went towards the south, and it was burning day and night, where there were 7 mountains of precious stones, 3 towards the east and 3 towards the south. And those towards the east were of colored stone, and one was of pearl, and one was of healing stone, and those towards the south of red stone. And the middle one reached to heaven, like the throne of the Lord, of Stabium, and the top of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a burning fire in what was in all the mountains, and I saw a place there beyond the great earth. There the waters gathered together. And I saw a deep chasm of the earth with pillars of heavenly fire, and I saw among them fiery pillars of heaven, which were falling, and as regards both height and depth they were immeasurable. And beyond this chasm I saw a place, and it had neither the sky above it, nor the foundation of earth below it. There was no water on it, and no birds, but it was a desert place. And a terrible thing I saw there, 7 stars like great burning mountains, and like a spirit questioning me, the angel said, "This is the place of the end of heaven and earth. This is the prison for the stars of heaven and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire, these are the ones which transgressed the command of the Lord from the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their proper times. And he was angry with them and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sin in the year of mystery."
Welcome. I don't know why that's showing on the screen right now, but we're not doing the cameras today because we were having some issues last week with audio, and so we're just gonna do it this way for now. I think we have the audio figured out. Tommy, welcome, and say hi.
Hello, everybody.
So what we just played was Enoch chapter 18. I mean, it wasn't the whole thing, but it was parts of it. So flying machines causing destruction. What does that even mean? Well, like there's a few places that come to mind because, okay, if there was a way that I could bring to life the story that, or some of the stories that are in the Bible, and I don't mean to bring them to life like by me. I mean just by pointing out a way that they're actually physically real and happening.
Right.
And like destruction, what is it that in the Bible, what is it that ends up happening at the end?
Isaiah says that the heavens drop down. I know that. Isaiah 24 says that what does it say? The earth is burnt. Few men left.
Yep.
From the curse.
And actually, Zechariah 5 talks about the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth, and it ends up destroying people's houses and the lumber they're made of or whatever. In Revelation 7, we can get some. Basically, I want to understand what it is that causes this heavens to fall down. What is it that causes that? And I know a lot of people just assume, well, that's Jesus that's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to roll the sky back. I mean, I've heard it 1,000 times people say that.
Me too.
But is that true? I mean, I don't
I
think
used to
that's
I used
true.
to think that.
And it's not that I want to have some debate about it either, and I
I
don't
hear
think
you.
you do either. But
No.
just to in the scriptures, it seems to say something that makes more sense a little bit too, because if like, oh, okay, what does Jesus do? He saves people, right?
Yep.
People are always saying, "Are you
Salvation.
saved?" Yeah, salvation.
Salvation lies in His hands.
Yep.
Yep.
And so usually when people need to be saved, they need to be saved from something. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so the way that I'm just trying to put it in like quick words without being too detailed, but the way that I
Right.
see it in the Bible, like in the book of Revelation and in the visions that Daniel was shown, and you just mentioned before we got on Ezra in second Esdras, that's some heavy stuff.
You ain't lying.
And there's I mean, if you take and you look at all these apocryphal books and the Bible, you get this pretty complex story that's happening at the end. And let me just read part of Revelation 7, just something else that happens in the end, and it gives us information on what it's going to look like when this sky rolls back and departs or whatever, like according to the Bible. So this is Revelation 7 verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." So, that's just one part of Revelation where we see that it's 4 angels that are, it's like they're in control of the 4 winds.
Right.
And this other angel tells them, he said, where is it? "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea." And because it said to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So that's what it's got something to do with the 4 winds, right? Wouldn't you say so? I mean, that's kind of what this is saying.
Yeah. Those
Um,
angels they're given the power to. It kind of sounds like there's gonna and Enoch it calls them the wicked.
mm-hmm. And
Like they have the power to control what the time that it's done.
and I don't even know which book or where it is at all. I can't. I like it slips my mind, but and it's probably in Enoch, I bet. But there's like when the flood happened, I didn't know this, but there was 4 angels, or maybe it was more than 4, but there were angels that had power over the waters. And so it was them angels that were directed to do the flood.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly where I've read that, but I think it's even more than one place that the angels, I think it's in, you know what I bet you it is? I bet you it's in the book of Enoch, that fragment of the book of Noah or whatever. I'll bet you it's in
Yeah.
there. But they had power over the waters and or dominion or something. And so when I think about that, I'm like, so in the end, these other 4 angels have power over these winds that are gonna, and it's like given to them to do destruction. So I don't know if these are good angels, bad angels. I don't know. I think they're good angels because they're being told to. They've been set. They've been designed or whatever to do this. But anyway, the winds. So what we were listening to is the Book of Enoch when in that video that we were playing. The reason why I want to talk about the winds is because they're real. It's
For
not
sure.
it's not part of a story when you get in a commercial airliner and you fly from California to New Jersey. That's real.
Right.
You're flying, and the only thing holding you up, we all know the only thing holding you up is the air.
Probably the same thing that's holding up the clouds.
Yeah. Well, that's what it says in Enoch. So I wanted to just kind of study out just these few couple verses at the beginning of Enoch chapter 18. Should we just do one verse at a time? Because I think each verse gives us a lot of information that we can understand more about how real this is becoming. And before we were on, me and Tommy were just talking about that SpaceX already put something into orbit this morning, and they're going to be stacking the Starship. Like, they're going to launch that thing pretty soon.
They're saying Elon Musk is saying 420, but probably going to be another month. That's what Space Padres and all them are saying.
Yeah, and it could, like, I always tend that project they're working on, they don't want failures. I'm just saying, to have one fail, that sets you way back when it comes to like manned flight, according to like whatever the FAA and all that garbage. But I think
I always wonder how those people are going to be feeling when it does what it's going to do.
I don't know, and that's the thing, is like, that's the big question is, Boston Ray, it's a channel here on YouTube. He does he does a lot of live streams, and he does them at night usually. His channel's like Mud Flood something or other, Boston Ray, and he's hilarious. He's entertaining. And anyway, I was listening last night, and Andrew was on there, and he mentioned that Starship with the 33 engines, and I think like Boston Ray didn't really grasp why anyone would be interested in that Starship. And so hopefully I talked to him sometime. He was saying that I should come on and talk about it sometime, which I think would be awesome. But
for sure,
because it's I understand that people are saying, oh yeah, they named it Raptor or whatever, 33 engines, it's Illuminati or whatever. That idea I get. And also I get the idea they're faking space. Okay, I get that idea. This is a different idea. This is not either of those categories. This is actually something that we can know, because, and it all, like, I can't prove it to you, but if you read these things that we're reading, it says what's going to do this destruction. And it's not Jesus coming and doing the destruction, but it is actually
where does it say in Revelation, Joe, he will destroy those that destroy the earth?
Yeah, that's in, I think, chapter 18. But
is it 18?
In second Esdras, remember that you were just talking about chapter 12, the vision of the eagle with 3 heads or whatever.
Yep.
That in that he's the lion that we were talking about last week, that lion that was roused up from the forest. He asked the fourth beast or whatever, he said, you, the fourth beast, are the one that I better go look at it, because it's really relevant to, I didn't think of this till right now.
That's definitely
bring forth my, it's like that'll bring forth my or the end of my world or something like that.
Yep. That's definitely talking about the holy city being destroyed.
Yes.
It's calling it Zion. It's calling it Zion.
Yep.
I don't know. Yep. I don't know the difference between the S and the Z.
It's the same thing as treading the holy city underfoot.
Underfoot. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, where's this?
And it actually calls it Babylon too. I had it on.
Yeah, it's like Babylon and Zion are kind of the same place, but they're
Uh,
opposite of each other. They're like,
I'm thinking it's for the righteous, it's New Jerusalem or Zion, and then to the unrighteous, it's
yeah,
Babylon or
It's the
space.
same. It's in the same area anyway. And you know
Yep.
how we were talking about the Sheol having two sides to it,
All right.
and there's basically an abyss between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just picture that they could both be in the same heaven, and that abyss is up from up there. That's just the thing. A bottomless pit is not a place, material and physical.
Or like Jesus would call it outer darkness, and then in Isaiah it says he went to the sides of the pit. I think it's more like on the sides of the earth, because it says that in Enoch. It says somewhere in Enoch where the fire is on the sides of the earth. There's the pits, and then there's a, I don't even know how it says it. There's a,
yeah, I don't know how it says it either.
There's like a wall of fire or something like that, a pillar of fire,
or where the fire receives the stars or something like that.
Something like that. Yep. I think
Let's
that's
see
20.
here. Where is this part? Sorry, I thought. Okay, here's the four winds of heaven. Wow. Look
Are
at
you
this,
in
guys.
Esdras?
Look at this. Yeah, look at this. This is in Esdras. I'm in the wrong chapter, but it's 13, chapter 5. Look at this. It says, I kept watching these things, and an innumerable multitude of people came together from the four winds of heaven to fight against the man who had come up from the sea. That's the waters above. Because the four winds of heaven, we better go over these verses in Enoch.
Yep. Daniel also said the same thing before he described the beasts.
Yeah, the winds, the four winds strove upon the great sea.
Yep.
Right? That's the waters
Daniel
above.
7. Yeah.
And we know it's the waters above because, like in Revelation, the beast came up from the bottomless pit.
Yep, that's Daniel 7:3.
Okay, so I have to go a chapter back to find what I was trying to find.
He's always mentioning when he's talking about the winds, it either says the sea or the winds of heaven. They're like,
yeah,
they're somewhere around each other when he starts talking about those, the prophets.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. And he said that man was flying among the clouds of heaven.
Right.
And he carved himself out a mountain, and but Ezra couldn't see where it was. Where is this part with the lion rising up from the sea, or rousing up from the forest?
I actually did a Facebook Live video on it yesterday, trying to explain it the way I'm seeing it, because I've been listening to that on the Sons of Jacob Ministries, second Esdras.
So that lion is Jesus.
You think the lion is Jesus?
Yeah, you know why? Because we didn't read the interpretation. It says, this is the anointed one. The Most High has kept him for the end of days. He will arise from the line of David, and he will come and speak to them.
Line of Judah, yep.
I think it should say, and he will come and teach them the truth about the world they live in. Will denounce their wicked acts and indict them for their injustice. He will set before them their despicable deeds. He will put them on trial while they are still alive. And after he's convicted them, he will destroy them. So believe the truth, guys. That, like, I could see that all happening right now.
You ain't lying.
Crazy.
I can too.
People that just think that the whole flat earth thing is just some dumb thing. They don't understand what it is.
Right.
If, like, there's a new heaven and a new earth for many of us. I could probably just leave it at that, but I can't find this part I was looking for. Oh, here it is. Okay, he said to me, this is in 2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 10. He said to me, this is the interpretation of the vision that you saw. The eagle you saw rising from the sea is the fourth kingdom. It appeared in a vision to your brother Daniel, but it wasn't interpreted for him now as I interpret it for you or have shown it to you. Look, the days are coming when a kingdom will rise on the earth that will be more terrifying than all the kingdoms that came before it. 12 kings will ruin it. Okay, that I'm just going to skip a little bit.
SpaceX.
I know. I just see like 4 kingdoms that our world has used to build the space station and to maintain it or whatever. I see that.
Russia's about done, right?
Yeah, Russia's about done. They're bankrupt.
Yeah, they're going bankrupt.
So that Soyuz, I think that'll just disappear.
Can someone answer me this question? As I've been thinking about this, is the Dragon capsule or anything that resupplies the space station for SpaceX, is that the only capsule that didn't need men in it?
Which one?
Okay, like the space shuttle had to have men in it to dock to the ISS. The Soyuz had to have men in it. Is it not the SpaceX is the only one that has a vehicle
or whatever?
Yeah.
No, the Cygnus, orbital ATK, or I can't remember what they're called now. They changed. I think.
Who owned that one? Is that NASA's?
No, it was another. It was part of the same contract.
But it was SpaceX.
No, it's not SpaceX. It's orbital ATK is what it was.
Oh yeah, it's a private company. I got you.
Yeah, it's a private company, and they actually are the only ones that.
Were they the first ones to do that? What I'm trying to say is,
no, they weren't. SpaceX was first on everything.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. So you want to hear something that's interesting? I just found this, and it's actually what we were talking about, this destruction that the winds are said to, or are given to cause. So here's what it says. This is verse 22 in the same chapter 12 in 2nd Esdras. As for the fact that you saw 3 heads at rest, this is the interpretation. In the last period, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and he will renew many things in it, and they will rule the earth and greatly oppress those who dwell on it, more than all the rest who were before them. Therefore, they are called the heads of the eagle, because they will sum up its acts of impiety and complete its last deeds. So, when it says, he said he will destroy those who destroy the earth, here's what it says. As for your seeing the biggest head disappear, one of the kings will die on his bed, though in agonies. As the 2 who are left, the sword will destroy them. The sword of one will come and destroy the one who is with him. But he too will fall by the sword in the last days. That sounds like what you were saying about the 2 boosters hitting each other or something.
Does that not sound like that?
It does, because the kings, we already. Oh, is the audio good?
I've seen Andrew. It's good on my end.
Okay, so maybe Andrew lost his.
I mean, probably those tornadoes out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's scary. Pray for Arkansas, man. Ooh.
I can't believe some of the videos
and you know what
I've seen.
I guess the Lord guided me out of that. At that, I was just there like the day before that. All that started going down. Yeah, I started going south. I was like, whew, thank God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's scary. I've been pretty lucky this year. I ain't gonna lie. A couple times in Kentucky, the roads were froze up, but other than that,
you've been in Iowa too.
Oh yeah, I got hit by a little snowstorm out there in Iowa like a month ago. It was pretty scary. I had to pull over, and my wipers had so much ice on them, like they were.
Oh really?
They quit working. Like they were just. Yeah.
Okay, so should we? Let me just.
Oh, he said it was his phone. Good.
Oh, okay, good. In Enoch chapter 18, he sees the treasuries of all the winds, and what he says about them. Again, we can just get information and just hold on to the information. We don't have to it's not crazy. It's just like, it depends on if you believe what these guys, their testimony of what they saw. And, according to scripture, this rebellious house of Israel, that people, I guess, I think they are people. They kill the prophets. So a lot of this stuff is just unaccepted. It's just unaccepted because I don't know why. Just because they don't accept it. But I do. So it says, I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. What does it mean to furnish something with something?
Supply.
I'm looking. I'm looking it up right now. Furnish with. Furnish somebody something with something. Furnish something to supply. Yeah, you're right. To supply or provide someone or something with something. To supply something. Okay. I was just reading what came up on my Google. To furnish means to provide with what is needed. Okay, so furnish isn't to like create, right?
No.
It's to assist or to give. It's like it wouldn't be the beginning. You wouldn't furnish something like, and then I don't know what I'm trying to say. He furnished with them, with the winds. That's how I take that. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. So whatever that means, that's, I think, interesting.
He's using the winds. He's using the winds to support the earth and the heavens.
That's what I get out of it. And then
Yep.
it even says in the next verse, it like verifies that to us. It says, and I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. So that says right there, the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. The word bear means to hold up or support.
Support, yep. Somewhere in here it says 12 winds. I think the four winds are the ones that are up between heaven and earth. I think there's winds. I think there's winds underneath us too.
There's the winds of heaven which turn. So these are the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. They're holding everything up. And then it says, and I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. So the air is also the pillars of the heaven, or the winds, I should say.
It's what keeps the heaven up there.
Yep. And then the heaven is like a different kind of wind, like a different medium or something. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. That's in the firmament.
So the luminaries are riding on those winds or in those winds. Yeah, makes sense.
It's almost like a medium, like NASA would say it's a vacuum or something, but it's a medium that obviously all the lights are turning in the firmament.
It's crazy.
They're on a course. They're on a, and it's because God ordained them to do that. But so it says, I saw the winds of heaven which turn. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. So he's kind of saying there's two different winds here that he's describing. He's describing the ones on the earth and the ones of heaven. And then he said, I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. So to me, the end of the earth is like up in the sky. It's where the firmament, like the end of the earth would be where heaven starts.
Meets the earth.
And I don't think that's like where the ice wall is or whatever. I think that's up in the sky. The end of earth is up where probably where the air stops or something. So then he went to this place with all these mountains and stuff. This prison. I'm getting that echo again now. Let me try. Okay, I'm changing my mic. Maybe this will help.
Still sound clear on my end, and I'm not getting the like my little logo's not bouncing when I'm not talking, or when you're talking, it's not doing it. So
I'm getting the same thing, and it's getting worse. That's so weird.
And it's getting a little bit. I see it. Yeah.
I'm just trying a couple things with my mic. That's probably all I can do. Maybe we'll just watch some videos and we'll figure out the mic.
I can always mute. I don't know why it's doing that.
It's still like to have a conversation. It's hard with the muting. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I know.
You know what I should do is let me grab. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just change our idea here, because that I did check it out and it was pretty bad. Like our last week, the recording.
Now they're saying it sounds good.
Maybe it's just because I have headphones on or something. I don't know. It sounded like that on the recording from last week too. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Then you owe me $20 then.
I owe you 20 for the crappy headphones. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I'm just looking through some videos because I think I have some good videos that we could watch if we wanted to.
I probably owe you more than $20.
No, you don't owe me anything. You owe me nothing.
I thought it was like Patreon.
Oh yeah, my Patreon. Did Jesus have a Patreon?
Yeah, I remember that video you made.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, I listened to it like a month ago, I think.
Okay,
I like going through the videos that I haven't listened to in a while. You learn like that.
You know what I think? I think you should talk, because for me, okay, now I'm not getting that sound because you muted. Okay, I see you muted. That's probably no fun for you, but
it ain't no big deal. I can mute.
Okay, how about this? Should we talk about these 4 winds of heaven?
See, now whatever you just did there, talk and let me see if my mic's picking it up.
Did I change something? I don't think I changed something, but I'm still getting kind of that. Maybe I'm being too picky. Well, I don't know. On my end, I hear what I say. I'm hearing it in like a muffled sound after I say it.
Like a feedback, yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
You sound real clear on my end. I don't know.
So I don't know why those. Yeah, I guess all I could say was, why did it start doing it? Do you want to check your settings on the StreamYard thing again, just to make sure like that they didn't change or something? Just because I don't know why they would.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go.
Okay.
And it's automatic adjust mic volume. Echo cancellation's on.
Maybe turn that stuff off. Maybe I should turn it off too, or because it might mess it up maybe more than. Whoops.
Echo cancellation.
Okay, is that? Oh, maybe that's better. Yeah, I think that fixed it. I'm not hearing it anymore.
I'm not getting no feedback when you talk, so it's all on your end because I'm not hearing anything. Sounds pretty good on my end. But I do, when you talk, I can see my little logo light up a little bit.
Oh, I see, like on the screen.
Yeah, now it's not doing it, so that might have been it.
I think, yeah. What did we do?
How's it sound, Tony?
Yeah, Tony, does it sound okay?
Better put some Folgers in that cup.
Tony's Coffee House and Scott Level Run. Good to see you guys. Isabel Alive, Andrew Havadick, Oregon Militia.
What does the thief and robber come to do, Joe?
To kill and destroy and steal.
Yeah. What's the thief and robber do? They climb up another way.
Yeah, into the sheepfold.
Yep.
And I know they go up into his tabernacle or into his secret place, and they defile it with their abominations and detestable things.
That's right there in 2nd Esdras. It says, "Do not defile my sanctuary."
Yep, that's exactly what it says. Do not defile my sanctuary.
Right before that verse, it says about the law.
Oh, let's look at it. Let's look at. Is that in chapter 15? I think it's in chapter 15 or
Yeah,
maybe
it's
16.
towards the end. I'm not real because I listened to it. I don't have that book.
Yeah, so it's hard to
So
know
yeah,
exactly where
I
it
know
is.
it's towards the end, like 3/4 of the way that
Yep.
that book
It's
just
like
opens up.
it's right after they went out to that field. Oh, right here, I just found it. It's in 2nd Esdras 15 verse 25. It says, "I won't spare them. Go away, faithless children. Don't defile my sanctuary."
Yeah, says that in
Can you
Ezekiel
guys
too.
can you guys imagine how God
Mm.
feels that there's so many of us trying to understand these things and looking at what the scriptures say, but then there's so many of us, and I'm just gonna say us because I'm sure I do it too. So many of us that I don't know why, but we have to change the story. We have to change it to something that we think it is.
These prophets went to their death on this information that they were given. Like they were
Yeah,
terribly prosecuted.
and Jesus said it was like if it was given to you to see these things and to know some of these mysteries of the kingdom of God, if it was given to you, I think that to change the story is going to ruin it for it. It's going to be boring and pointless. But if you pay attention to what, like, the very specific things are written in these books, I guess what I'm saying is if I was God looking down and noticing all of this entire space exploration endeavor that this world is doing, I'd be looking down and saying, why aren't my people like fighting against that? Oh, they are, but they're saying they're fighting it in a odd way. I think myself, if to just say that, oh, they're just faking this, and then just keep like there's no that it's like a dead end. If you just
Yep.
say, oh, they're just faking this, what about the people that are there that aren't faking it? What are they supposed to think? How are you going to get through to them? How are you going to make them understand that it's an assault on God's tabernacle?
What if it? Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. What if it? I know a lot of people say it's fake, but what if it ain't fake, and they really are polluting heaven?
Well,
And
look
that's
at what a rocket does. Everybody's seen a rocket. Like, we all know that rockets launch. That right there should be enough. They're pointing arrows at the heavens and firing them off.
yep.
And then they do all this stuff up there. And they
Very
think
big
it's heaven.
arrows. Very big arrows. Whew.
So how did we fix that audio? I forgot already.
Oh,
What
I turned off the echo cancellation. That
Oh,
probably
that's
was
what it
doing it.
was. Okay,
Yep.
good.
So now
Because
we know.
it sounds primo to me.
Awesome.
So and Glyph says much better now. The mumble is gone, says Isabel Alive 2.0. Thank you,
Awesome.
guys. Yeah, Isabel Alive sees it. Look what he
Oh,
said.
there's.
Yes,
I know
the
that.
dragon, the little horn.
I know there's people in your on your channel that can see it for sure. Captain Caveman, Tony. I would say there's maybe 20 of us, maybe more.
And I think there's a lot more people that are understanding. I like. Here's the thing. I don't care about understanding everything. Like, what are they doing with the starship if it gets into orbit, and what is orbit? And all, like, I hate even thinking about that stuff because it's all evil. It's like evil stuff. The Luciferian. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
And there's this idea that I have that people saying it's fake aren't aware of what this assault is. Like you were just saying, climbing up into the sheepfold another way. Like that they're robbers and thieves, and they come to steal and kill and destroy.
What if Jesus told us that for a reason and we reject it? Like that's what's worrying me, Joe. Like with
I
Adam
know.
and all
I
the other
know.
channels, Sean Griffin. I watched Sean's live yesterday, and I try to be nice, whatever. But it's like you're
It's
missing all
hard to
these
watch.
things, and you're not, yeah, and you're not warning anyone. What's it say in
Well,
Ezekiel? What's it say in Ezekiel 33? Like,
but here's the thing though, I gotta put the defense on, because if those guys don't see what we're talking about, I think that's the way that it is. I don't think that they're, like you brought up Ezekiel 33. I think that they're doing that. I think they are doing that. You know what I mean? I think they're more putting out the warning.
Or
But I
anything
think,
it's going to get them out of the Babylon and the beasts,
yeah,
because it's taking the souls of men. So even if you say, well, that's fake, and you can prove and say, oh, look, they're wearing wire harnessed or whatever,
yeah,
blue screens or whatever.
yeah,
And we were both there.
yep.
I was 2 years into that. I was like, they're faking everything. There ain't no way. You can just see hey, if that's pulling people away from it, it pulled me away from it.
Let me read something in Jeremiah 51, because
Read on. I love Jeremiah.
it gives me the idea that like you were talking about, like Adam and they don't see this the same way that we do. That's fine. But I think it even seems like there's a reason why it's like that.
Maybe the only thing I would think, I've been thinking this, is I know things they're sealed and they're only revealed to certain people, and I would say
Yeah.
probably the reason why, the main reason why, is like there's things are meant to happen a certain way so that they do happen.
And it was just written and declared a certain way, and I know that it'll happen that way. So
Yeah, you're not going to change the story. You see what I'm
and
saying?
and so that makes me want to understand it even a little more. Do you know what
For
I'm
sure.
saying?
Oh yeah.
So let me just read a little bit of this and tell me if you don't get the idea.
Where are you at,
Because
Jeremiah?
yeah, Jeremiah 51. And okay, so this Babylon, it's talking about Babylon, okay?
Oh yeah.
And what I understand Babylon the Great to be is a place that the world loves and they think it's their future, but it's actually a prison for evil spirits.
Yep.
So that's in Revelation 18 verse 2. It says it's a habitation of devils and a prison. It's a prison for evil spirits and hateful birds or something like that. So a prison, it's a spiritual place. Babylon is. It's a prison for devils, and we've read all about this prison. I mean, it's mentioned all over the place in the Bible and in the book of Enoch
Oh
and
yeah.
all these books it's mentioned in. But so if you think about a spiritual wilderness where there's no water and there's stars there, I mean, like, it doesn't take too much to realize that this dark place is a spiritual place, first of all. And so when God says, "Don't defile my sanctuary," and then what does men do? First, they build the Tower of Babel, right? And then he stopped that. And so then, what did he say though? That's one important thing, because everyone always says, nobody can get through the firmament.
He said, nothing that they imagine to do will be restrained from them.
So if they imagine to go to the moon, they probably go to the moon. If
Yep.
they imagine to put satellites above the earth, they probably will, right? Not that
Yep.
it's a good idea, but they
Oh
probably
no.
will. Yeah. So this is just interesting, the way this is worded with these fanners that he sends to Babylon. And that word fanners, I think it means like strangers, like people from another place or something.
Oh, can I say something real quick then
Yeah.
about that? Because when I was worried about the timeline, I was looking up words, and I was like, okay, what was the first satellite they put up? And it was Sputnik. I
Yep.
think I told you this already.
Or maybe not. I don't remember.
And Sputnik means what you just said right there. The word Sputnik means stranger or foreigner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, is that a coincidence?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because
But
the 70 years is ringing in my ears from
70
the
years.
time from the time I'm thinking this is how it's going, as it talks about it in Daniel 9, and it talks about
Yep.
it in, I think, Jeremiah. I think it's in Jeremiah. It might be Isaiah. I can't remember. But from the time that the abomination be placed to it be made desolate is 70 years.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
it.
not trying. I'm not trying to figure out a time, but I'm just saying.
No, but that's interesting though,
Yeah, it
because
is.
if we like, I don't know what year was that?
1958.
58.
Yep.
That's interesting. But
It
anyway,
is interesting. Just saying.
it is.
I mean,
You did tell me that, I think, now that you meant, now that I
it's,
got what
I
you're
just
saying.
like, is that a coincidence that word means the same thing that Jeremiah's talking about here? Ezekiel calls it the same thing.
I
Like
don't know. Yeah.
the spoiler, the stranger. I don't know.
So, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. So he's going to send what to Babylon? A destroying wind. Okay. And then it says, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. That just, to me, that sounds like flat earth. Do you get what I'm saying by that?
That makes me think God's in heaven and they don't believe God's in heaven, so we just do what we want up there.
Yeah.
That makes me think, yeah, they're against God.
One of my friends said Elon Musk looks at space as free real estate. As he looks at it as property he can have, you know. But so then verse 3 says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. This is talking about things that go up to the sky, you guys. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through her in the streets. You know, like here, let me so it says flee out of the midst of Babylon. Okay, I'm trying to find something that here's one of the verses that to
That's
me,
in Revelation.
Here's one of the verses, it's verse 9 in Jeremiah 51. But like you were talking about Sean or Adam, or like, why don't these guys talk about this stuff at all? Or why don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't see it the same way. But a verse like this, I don't understand how they can not see what this verse is saying. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. I mean, is that just those words don't mean anything? Do you know what I'm
Don't
saying?
get much clearer.
I'm not trying to rip on anyone. I'm saying that says it reaches to heaven and is lifted up to the skies. Okay, that's plain and simple. And then it says, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. What's the work of the Lord our God?
The work of the Lord of our God?
Like his creation, I bet.
Oh, for sure. What he declared.
Yeah, what he declared. And then like in Isaiah, he said, he asked, who among them can declare this and show us the former things?
Yep.
And the former things, what was that? That was what he declared, the former things at the beginning. That was also in Isaiah.
That's why it makes me think not to interrupt you, but the thing that they're singing in Revelation, that new song, is the song of Moses.
Yeah, and the song of the Lamb.
Yep. Moses wrote creation. He was given the creation account.
True. Like
that
Genesis.
No one believes. Well, the world didn't believe, but now there's some that do believe.
Yeah, a lot of people believe it now.
Yep.
Like a lot.
A lot.
And that's one thing that I don't think there's anything like this in the world. And correct me if I'm wrong, but every day there's more flat earthers than there was the day before that. And also every day there's less people who believe in a globe than there was the day before that. There's nothing that has that trend. that trends like that.
You know what's even bigger?
People don't go back. Like that should be a big red flag for anyone who's thinking flat Earth is dumb.
Yeah.
Nobody goes back. When you see the truth, you don't go back to the lie.
Once you go flat, you never go back.
Yep.
What's even bigger to me though is that there's if NASA is doing the work of Satan, let's just say if, whatever. I think they are. I know they are. But if you come out of that, then you're like, if you're giving you're raising a shout up against God, and then you see the true creation, you're like, oh, NASA's a joke, and you go away from that, then you're like,
you repented, you turned your ways, you turned around and went what you knew was right.
Yep, you're not attacking God anymore. You're working with God. That's the way I see it.
And then verse 11 says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. That's in heaven.
Yep. And all these prophets,
all talking about heaven.
Yep,
it's all talking about heaven.
All these prophets connect. Like that's Daniel right there. Spirits of the Medes. That device right there is the Daniel 8.
Yeah.
That's that little horn.
Yep, the little horn, and that's what
the little horn. I want to say that I want to say this because a lot of people are getting this confused.
Okay.
The little horn is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
The son of perdition is the man.
And also the horns that Daniel and John both saw in their vision, they're kings.
Those are the kings, yep.
So they're not people.
Nope.
They described them visually as looking like horns.
Those are the devices against Babylon right there.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's what's so interesting when we just watch a SpaceX Dragon go up in the sky. Like, come on. There's a dragon being that goes up to heaven and comes down from heaven. And that's what this world believes.
And Jesus said he beheld Satan fall like lightning.
Yeah, from heaven.
And then Job, he was going up and down, in and out of the through the earth. That's what it says, something like that.
Up to and fro in the earth and up and down in it or something.
Yeah, that's weird.
I just know that this Babylon place. Oh, here, verse 37, and Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment and an hissing without an inhabitant. So that's why these astronauts are sus. Just think yeah, just think about it.
I like that.
Think about it. What did the astronauts do? They go, where is that verse where it's in Revelation? I'll find it. Where they go forth to the kings of the earth and gather them to fight against or to fight against
Armageddon.
Yeah, it's Armageddon.
Yeah. That's the same in Second Esdras there too, Joe. The dragons. It talks about those dragons in Zion.
The dragons of Arabia.
Yeah.
We should look at that because that
I wonder if those are the same spirits that are in the Testament of Solomon, because it says the spirits of Arabia or something like that.
Arabia, yeah, the demons of the wind.
The demons of the wind. Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that yesterday, I was like, that sounds just like the Testament of Solomon.
That was in our chat here. Someone mentioned that already. I'm gonna scroll up. If I didn't say hi to you guys, I'm sorry. I meant to. Shalom girls here, or was. Austin Murphy. Tim Pack said a great pillar will cause them to fall. Tim Pack is paying attention.
Oh yeah, Tim Pack.
I'm just saying that. And London McLovin and FE Nation, welcome guys. Sorry about that. Oregon Militia. I don't know, but yeah. I just think that, and Celeste is here. Welcome. Sorry about that, guys. Oregon Militia says the truth. NASA stands for not a space agency.
No, they don't go to space. They go to the pit.
Yeah, exactly. How about this? NASA, not a single accomplishment. Like they would say they have accomplishments, but they don't understand what they're accomplishing.
Google the world's greatest achievements and see what you get. You're gonna get the moon landing, the ISS.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Revelation 16. Let me just read a little bit
I
here.
wonder.
Okay.
I wonder how God feels about that. Go ahead. Sorry.
This is a main reason why I think that astronauts are unclean spirits. And I have no evidence of it other than what John says in this book of Revelation, chapter 16. He says, "And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." That's interesting. False prophet. Out of the mouth of the false prophet. Wonder what that means. But it says, "For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty." I'll
How
tell you
many?
what, this dragon is prevailing against everyone.
Yep.
I mean, everyone thinks it's either fake or that it's great.
I mean, I'd rather be on the side that's saying it's fake than the ones
then
that's saying it's real.
Yeah, and you know what? There's also people who think it's real, but think it's stupid.
Oh, I got something.
Do you know
to
what
say
I'm
about
saying?
that.
Yeah. Talk about it. Tell me what you think.
Okay. So for like 2 weeks, I've been thinking about my cousin's like my brother because we had a pretty bad childhood and we lived together before my mom passed away. His mom went to prison, so he's been like my brother my whole life.
Okay.
And he laughs about stuff. I tell him, anytime we talk about Tesla, he's like, "Yeah, you know who Elon Musk is, huh? LOL." So it was on my heart for like 2 weeks, and then Friday I talked to him, and I was like, "Listen, man, I'll be real with you. What do you think about like the whole space endeavor, going up into space or out to space?" I said, "I just want to know where you stand on that." He's like, "I could care less, bro." He's like, "I know I joke and laugh about what you say, but," he said, "I believe in God, right?" And I was like, "I know you do." He says a Viking God. He thinks he's a Viking, and maybe he is. I don't know, but he's like,
We all
I
think
believe.
God is something different than the next
Yeah,
person.
that's true. But I just wanted to know. It literally brought me to tears the way he said it. I was like, man.
I have the same, pretty much the exact same situation when I talked to my dad about it.
With your dad, yep. That made me think of that. We were talking about that, and that verse in Revelation where it says that one of the churches, I think it is in 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. To me, it was
dude,
saying
it went right to me.
For those who don't see the complexity of it, to stick with what they do know or whatever. So that to me is good. That's good.
For sure.
That is very good. So yeah, the astronauts, they seem like these devils, the spirits of devils. And in Enoch 17, it says that he went to this place of darkness and he saw, and it was where the stars were, and there was what did he say? Flames of fire, and those who were there could make themselves appear as men when they wished.
Wow.
So, like the astronauts, just think about it. There's so few people, and so I think that they're suspect. But
John said how many came out of there? 3?
Yeah, 3 unclean spirits came out of the mouth of the dragon.
How many astronauts came out of the dragon? Well, that was the first time they launched it, right? With men in it.
Oh,
am I correct on that?
Well, there's 2 kind of situations where there was 3 people in there. Like, I think they launched 3 or 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They did 2. The very first launch was Bob and Doug.
You're right. I remember that.
But do you remember Don Pettit? The first time that SpaceX launched a Dragon capsule was in and it docked with the space station. The first time that happens was like way back in 2013 or 2012, and Don Pettit and 2 other astronauts were in the Dragon capsule, like checking it out, because it was a cargo dragon, so it had food and everything for him.
Right.
And they're checking it out, and the announcer guy, he even says, you guys look, or you three look good in the dragon. And I'm just like, if you got to put yourself to 2,000 years ago,
For sure.
That's how they would have said it.
Yep.
They didn't know what this horn was, but they knew it was a dragon. Like, I don't understand why people, aren't.
He called it the human rated dragon.
Yeah, the human rated dragon.
They talk about how they give it births with the ISS, like it's giving life. I'm like, wow.
Oh, you know what? You just reminded me of a video I'm gonna download quick that I can.
Yeah,
play.
I remember that. I know what video you're talking about. She's
Where,
like
with Gwyneth. What's her name again? I can't remember her name. Gwen Shotwell or something.
I remember when they said the dragon, the beast, and the dragon. I'm like, wow, they're like literally talking.
They were just saying it like exactly, like it was weird.
There's an old space shuttle footage. It's a documentary about the space shuttle, and I got the clip on my phone. I got it saved on my gallery. The guy said when the first time the shuttle launched, it looked like a how do you say it? He said it lifted up. It looked like it was alive.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was like, wow.
He was talking about the Soyuz, actually. I can't remember his name, but
he said it looked like it was alive. Yeah, coming up out of the earth. I said, that sounds just like how Daniel said it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Well, we have the Crew Dragon. I was just
okay. Yeah, help me out with this too, Joe, because I know you know the 12 and 8.
Oh man, that's kind of crazy. The 12 and the 8.
Well, I looked up
Esdras. You're talking about,
and because I've been reading Esdras for a little while now, trying to figure it out.
I'll look it up right now and see if it makes sense still. So the contract that, the first contract that SpaceX Dragon had with NASA, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Commercial Service. What was it? Commercial Vehicle, or no?
Resupply.
Yeah, that's what it was. CRS.
CRS, yep.
And I think it'd be 1. Let me just look at this. Space CRX 1. SpaceX.
But I Googled just to see. I went on SpaceX's site to see how many of those things they even made, and they made 22 of them.
Okay.
And there was
but they only made 10 of them for the CRS mission, for the CRS contract. And you you know how you can figure that out? What was that?
I didn't understand all that because like all of them launched and they were used, except for like 2 of them.
They used them all, but they only built 10 that they used for that contract.
Oh, okay.
They were contracted to build 10
at first.
So yeah. So let's see here. Here's what I did. CRS. I got to go back a page. CRS 11. Okay, was the 11th contracted mission. So we'll go to Wikipedia. I just want to read to you how we know that they only had 10. So here's what it says. Okay, the CRS-11 mission was the first time that a Dragon spacecraft has been reused, helping SpaceX to scale back its production line and focus to Dragon 2. So they only made 10, and then they just were refurbishing those ones and reusing them. So I'm sure they built more of them, but let's see, where was so in this contract, though, you were talking about the 12 and the 8, the 12 wings, and then it was like 8 wings that were not, didn't amount to anything or whatever, or they didn't.
They grew out of it or something like that, it says.
I better go look at that because
the 8 contrary feathers grew out of the 12 or something like that.
Yeah, where is
That's how I said it. I need to get that book. I'm going to order that book.
This is crazy. Okay, if I read, this is 2nd Esdras 11. Let me just read a little bit of this. It just makes my jaw drop that people don't understand that this is talking about heaven.
Sound like me.
Like, on the second night, I had a dream. I saw an eagle with 12 feathered wings and 3 heads rising up from the sea. As I looked, it spread its wings over the whole earth, and all the winds of heaven blew toward it, and the clouds gathered around it. Out of its wings grew opposing wings. These became small, tiny wings. Its heads were at rest. The middle head was larger. Okay, so those that it said opposing wings. Those opposing wings, it said in that there was 8 of them somewhere here. It must be like in the interpretation. Let me go to the interpretation just to find it, because it just stuck out at me when I looked at their service contract, that they had it with the.
What chapter are you in?
Right now I'm in. That was in 11 that I just read about the opposing wings.
Okay.
The 12 wings and then the opposing wings, and then somewhere in the interpretation it says, okay, here we are. Verse 19 in chapter 12 says, as for the fact that you saw 8 little wings clinging to its wings, this is the interpretation. 8 kings will arise in it. Their rules will amount to nothing, and their years will be swift. Okay. Those 8 wings. Okay, let me just read the CRS 1 on Wikipedia here, just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking there. I think it'll stand out to you. Actually, I can't do CRS1. I have to do commercial resupply services. There we are. I'm just going to Wikipedia, so I'm just reading off of Wikipedia. Okay, commercial resupply services are a series of flights awarded by NASA for the delivery of cargo and supplies to the International Space Station on commercially operated spacecraft. The first CRS contracts were signed in 2008 and awarded $1.6 billion to SpaceX for 12 Cargo Dragon and $1.9 billion to Orbital Sciences for 8 Cygnus flights.
Wow.
And the weird thing about that is that the Cygnus flights, they had nothing but trouble with. And the Dragon flights all went good, like all of them. And the contract changed every year or whatever. So it's that where it says for 12 Cargo Dragon, that they had the CRS2 contract after that. So it just continued on. But I thought that was interesting. To me, it seemed like that
was
could
the first
be,
plan. Yep.
The very first whatever the start of it.
Got you. That's crazy.
It is some weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
he in Esdras here. He's definitely talking about the heavenly kingdom. For sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
He
definitely.
keeps saying Zion and.
Yep. The all the clouds of heaven blew toward, or the winds of heaven blew toward it. Like we were just reading about the winds of heaven, which turn and bring the circumference of the stars in the sun to their setting or whatever. Now I'm getting the echo again. Are you hearing that or no?
No.
I just heard it for a second.
I did
now
see
I'm hearing it again.
Might jump a little bit. It's AI, man.
Let me try to turn my echo off. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to see if maybe it's my audio. Okay, echo cancellation and automatically adjust mic volume. Okay. Did that help at all?
My thing's not jumping when you talk, so.
I think it was on my end now. Or I'm hearing it a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I'm hearing it. Joe Nugent says, I think you're right on, brother. You know what, Joe? I say that it's not even us, it's the prophets. They wrote this stuff down, and we have it at our right in front of us to look at and read, and whether we go ahead.
I'm gonna be real, like I don't know why I see this. I don't.
Well,
every day I ask myself that. Why did I listen to these books? I mainly listen to them.
Yep.
And I hear things. I'm like, whoa, yeah, that's happening. Whoa, I'm like, why? How do I see that? And people like Adam and they know the scriptures way better than I do. It's definitely something being hid, for sure. And maybe it's for a reason.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
I'm sure it is.
That's the only thing I could say is it's got to be hidden for a reason.
And the thing is, I hear I hear a cop siren or something. I don't know if it's here or if it's.
No, I ain't here. Don't say that.
I can hear it. It must be out by my house somewhere.
Don't bring DOT to me now.
DOT, oh boy.
Oh, you know DOT too, huh?
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
I know the ticket end of it. I'm just kidding. No, I actually like going across the country when I've never had a semi or anything, but just pulling. I had a 28-foot race trailer or whatever, like a enclosed Hallmark, and they didn't give me much trouble with that, except here in Minnesota when I'm driving around for work and stuff. They just harass you, but out of state, I've never been pulled over. And
you know, they're harder. They're harder on the hot shots, people carrying trailers, than they are or flatbeds. You know what a hot shot is, right? It's like a guy.
No. What is it?
A hot shot would be like you own a dually truck and you're carrying like flatbed, like you got a long gooseneck trailer and you're carrying, I don't know, pipes or
trailers or something.
You're hauling loads. You're under DOT. You're under DOT guideline, but
you're doing commerce over the road.
Yep, they're hard. I watched them Saturday. I went through the scale, and they had two in front of me, and they pulled them both in. Like they're gonna check.
Why? Do you know that?
You know why? Because their weight limit is really regulated, and them guys, they try to carry stuff that a semi should be carrying, and
them dualies are 3/4 or 1 ton trucks.
They're not meant to be. Yep. They get a lot of wrecks. Those hot shot guys, they have a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I try to stay safe, man. You got to.
Yeah. Well, and you got a nice truck, so hopefully you don't have any issues, you know.
Oh, my fan went out. My AC fan went out Tuesday in Alabama. I stopped to get fuel. Oh yeah, and it was like 80 degrees. It's hotter in the cab of the truck, so.
You're running that thing all the time, right?
Well, it has idle shutdown. If it's too cold outside, it'll shut down, so you're not sitting there burning fuel. Anything over 70, it'll run. But if it goes under 70 degrees, it shuts off.
It's like you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it, but.
Well, we just got a foot of snow like 2 nights ago, so
I'm hoping that's all gone.
Yeah, I wish it was all gone. We still got a lot of snow.
I don't know how you've done it all these years, man. Ain't no way.
Usually it's not like this. Usually in April, the snow is pretty much gone. I mean, but like today it's like 45 degrees out and sunny, and a lot of it's going to melt. So it's like we're supposed to get more snow in the next 2 days or something like that. I'm like, come on. Summer.
Go away.
But I can tell the sun's a lot closer.
I had a dream last night, man. I don't remember a bunch of it, but I did have a dream last night. And you won't guess what I was doing in the dream.
Driving truck.
Nope.
What?
I normally don't have dreams like that. It's weird. But I was trying to tell people about this. I was like, I was warning people that there's rockets going into heaven in my dream. It's weird.
That's good. All that means is that you don't get any breaks, boy.
Yeah, right. Can't run from it. You definitely can't run from it.
So here's the thing about these visions and stuff. I don't understand everything that it says in them. Like in the book of Daniel, like the chapter 10 and 11, man, them are busy chapters. I don't understand much going on in those chapters. But there's parts of this that we can understand. Or
For sure.
We can see it, I guess is what I'm saying. The prophets describe something, and it's in our world. And I don't know all the details of what they described, but there's some things that are, like, just for example, there's a war in heaven that happens in Revelation 12, and it's up in the sky. It's up where the stars are, where where there was a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and 12 stars, a crown of 12 stars on her head. That's up in the sky. So whatever that sign of that woman was. Well, right after that, he says, I saw another wonder in heaven, a great red dragon. And that's interesting because this same little horn that we're talking about all this time, the dragon capsule. What was it? What was it? The very first time anybody ever heard of it or saw it, what was it called?
Dragon.
Red Dragon.
Yep, Red Dragon for the Mars mission.
They designed it like it was SpaceX, and it even says that NASA was in on it, but that they were designing a spacecraft to go to Mars, and it was called Red Dragon. It was Elon Musk doing it, but
what do you think? What do you think about the Mars footage? Just to ask you.
It's weird.
It is weird, ain't it? I seen it on shorts, on YouTube Shorts this morning. I think it was. I was looking at it. I was like, so where's that footage coming from? Like,
oh, Tony's Coffee House says first launch was during that sign. No,
way before that.
No, it was. Yeah, they flew that. Well, it was the Dragon 2 is the one that it was called Red Dragon, but that was designed before they did the Cargo Dragon even. So the Cargo Dragon.
The fire started coming down. What was that? December 21st, 2015 or 23rd? Yep, 2015.
Yep.
That was when they successfully launched and came back down and made it reusable. Because remember they had a lot of failures before that.
Yeah, they had their first 3 attempts were failures, and then the 4th one made it into orbit.
Yep.
And then they always make some drama. If it wouldn't have made it into orbit, SpaceX wouldn't exist. Great, but it did, right?
Yeah.
So
they don't know the will. They don't know the will of God. Then this is all the will of God that this be done. This is gonna happen.
It's already been written.
It's already been written. Yep. And I tell people that on my videos, man. I try to do a Facebook video every day, and I like to play the scriptures and just kind of stop it and talk. But I try to tell people, I'm not saying these things like we're going to rise up against it and change it. Nothing's going to change what's been written to happen.
Nope.
I'm here to say these things so people know, warn them. Yeah. That's it. That's all I can do.
Let me run a concept by you.
Go ahead.
So, if God was going to, what were we were reading about it a little bit ago when the anointed one would come, he would be. Let me go. Where was that in
Esdras?
It was in chapter 12, wasn't it?
I think so. Where he carved a mountain, flew onto it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Where was that? Oh, here it is.
We all know.
Okay.
We all know who the Holy One is.
Yeah, and I want to read this again because, like the Book of Jude says, he comes with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment.
Yeah, I still haven't figured that out yet. I told my cousin about that. I'm like, how
would that happen? How is he going to?
Yeah, what are you placed in heaven? It's like in Revelation. It's talking about they're placed in heaven, they're shown things, and then they're back on the earth.
Yeah, they were up on Mount Zion with the Lamb. 144,000 were up on Mount Zion.
I don't think I'm going to figure that out.
Well, but I just want to, introduce an idea or whatever that I'm sure a lot of people haven't thought about it this way. But what if those people are just people, and they were supernaturally shown something, and then because of what they were shown, and they had to say it or they had whatever,
bear witness.
It makes it's just like what he said. A sword. Think not that I came to bring peace, but a sword. I see something happening where it's exactly what this says in 2nd Esdras here. Let me read it again. So it says, "This is the anointed one." Okay, where is it? Okay, the lion whom you saw rousing itself from the forest and roaring and speaking to the eagle and rebuking it for its deeds of injustice, as for all the words that you heard him speaking, this is the anointed one. The Most High has kept him for the end of days. He will arise from the line of David, and he will come and speak to them. He will denounce their wicked acts and indict them for their injustice. He will set before them their despicable deeds. He will put them on trial while they are still alive, and after he has convicted them, he will destroy them. So this is a courtroom thing happening.
Judgment.
A judgment happening.
Yep.
But the idea that I get is that I think he was saying all that stuff that we just read. He will denounce their wicked acts and indict them for their. I think that happened to me. Like, I think that happened to me. I think that happened to a lot of people that lived on a globe, and they were shown without a doubt that they didn't. And then I think that it is a form of judgment. And then there's like with a sword, if you divide something with a sword, or you cut something in half or whatever, there's one side and there's the other side. So it's almost like being forced into making a decision while we were still alive. I'm just saying that once you see the truth, I think that it is a form of judgment. And people are reproved of their sin. What's that in that's in John chapter 15, I think. Let me look it up.
What about I think it's 2 Corinthians. I might be wrong on this, and you might know it. It says, "Don't ye know that the saints judge the world?"
Oh yeah, it does say something like that. I don't know where, but
I think it's in 2 Corinthians. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, look at this. What it says in John 16, I guess. Sorry. When he sends the comforter or whatever, here it is. Nevertheless, I tell you that this is in John 16, verse 6. Verse 7. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. So, and then, of course, then he says, howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that he shall speak, and he will show you things to come. Well, showing us things to come, that's kind of why we're talking about the four winds, and we're talking about this war in heaven.
The destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giving everybody. I told my cousin that actually on Friday. I said, if God was going to speak to the world just like he spoke to the prophets and showed them the things, is like God going to come down and speak to people literally, or is he going to
get a microphone?
Yeah, like those trumpets. Is that going to be, we're going to hear a trumpet from heaven?
Well, we're going to, second Esdras is our big one today, but we're going to chapter 13, the vision of the man from the sea. That I read a little bit of it, but this man from the sea, who is obviously the Son of God, it says, I watched as he carved a great mountain for himself and flew onto it. I tried to see the region. Okay, that's not it. After this. Oh, it's right at the beginning here. That man was flying among the clouds of heaven. Wherever he turned his face to look, everything that fell under his gaze trembled. Wherever an utterance came from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax when it feels the fire. So he was uttering something. He was speaking to them.
Yep.
Like all of these visions go together so much.
Oh yeah.
It's
weird.
Yeah. Like you were in Psalm, or where were you that you were reading about the lion being roused from the forest?
Oh, that's
Jeremiah?
Isaiah, I think. Isaiah, let me look for it. I think it's Isaiah 8.
It was
It's either Isaiah or Jeremiah. I think it's Isaiah 8. It's 8:22, I think. It's my birthday. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 8:22.
So then this
No,
man...
No. That's another one.
This man came down from... Here's what it says in verse 12. After these things I saw the same man coming down from the mountain and calling to himself another crowd, a peaceful one. Many people came to him. Some were rejoicing and some were sad. Some were even tied up, while some were bringing other people as an offering. So that's weird because, like, let's see here. He's
The
calling to
when
himself.
when it says tied up, that makes me think of like in Jeremiah, where they're gathered to the pit, the net consumes them. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me think of that. I don't know why. They were trapped. Satan trapped them.
Okay, check this out. This is verse 25 in chapter 13. The interpretations of the vision are as follows. In that you saw a man going up from the heart of the sea, that is the one whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages. He will liberate God's creation all by himself, and he will put in order those who are left.
Hmm.
In that you saw something like wind and fire and storm go out of his mouth, and that he didn't hold a spear or weapon of war, yet destroyed the rush of that multitude that had come to fight him. Here's the interpretation. Look, the days are coming when the Most High will begin to rescue those who are on the earth. Those who live on the earth will go out of their minds. They will plan to wage war against each other, city against city, place against place, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. When these things happen and the signs that I showed you before take place, then my Son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man rising up. When all the nations hear his voice, then each one will leave its own region and will leave off the wars they were waging against each other. An innumerable mob will be gathered together, as you saw, wanting to come and fight against him. That's Armageddon.
Yep.
But he will
Doesn't
take
it?
his stand on the summit of Mount Zion. Listen to this. This verse right here, like, it reminds me of flat earth. Just listen to this, though. It says, Zion will come and appear to all, built and ready, as you saw a mountain carved without hands. My Son himself will indict the assembled nations for their impious deeds. These things were indicated by the storm. He will scold them for their evil plans and reveal the torments with which they are about to be tortured. These things correspond to the flame. He will destroy them without effort by the law, which was indicated by the fire. Check this out. To the fact that you saw him collecting to himself another peaceful multitude, these are the 10 tribes that were taken captive from their land in the days of King Hoshea.
That's the 144,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
And remember, they saw him, or John saw them up on Mount Zion in Revelation 14.
Yep. And they were gathering a multitude.
Yeah. They're singing a new song.
A new song.
Before
Yep.
the throne.
You were saying these things for like 4 years, and I was like literally agreeing with you, and I was like, yeah, I understand that. And then right before I came out here, it hit me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, now I know what you're saying. It's what flat Earth is. We're being put. Excuse me.
It's something about
We're
Mount
being
Zion.
placed. We're being placed in another land before the destruction, so we will be protected.
And we think of it as being like it's a place that's not built with rocks and stones. Like, well, maybe it is. I mean, I guess New Jerusalem is built however it's built. I can't say I understand it, but there are precious stones and things in New Jerusalem. But it's not
the people make that up.
The people, yeah, like he said, I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God.
Yep.
And you
Each
shall
one's
go
a
no
stone.
more out. It's like you're part of that structure. So
I wanted to add that Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven comes without observation.
Yes.
Mm.
So if you think like what you're saying, I totally agree that, like, I wouldn't say that I understand.
You better agree. You're the one that showed me it.
Well, I'm saying I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Entirely, but
I don't either.
Definitely truth about creation, and I'm like biblical cosmology. That's something that was declared at the very beginning, and all throughout time, people just haven't believed it. I mean, people have, I'm sure, but most people haven't. So
it says they were with them in the beginning.
Yeah, the foundation of the world.
Yep. I don't know how that works neither, but I still don't know how that they're in heaven and then they're back on the earth. Maybe they're just like
as ads now. Nice.
Ezekiel, or Daniel had a dream. Ezekiel was lifted up. Most of the prophets were put in the spirit and shown these things.
Yep.
And maybe the people that are seeing this have been put in the spirit and they just don't know it.
Yeah. Well, I mean it. I don't
Do you
even
think the
like.
prophets were feeling? I'm not saying we're prophets or anything like that. I'm just saying. Do you think they were feeling like what just happened to me? How am I? What am I seeing here? So I'm sure everybody was going against them. I mean, they were put to
Yeah, I
death
think
over it.
I think because obviously it was something that was so powerful to them that they wrote it down. Like we have
Could
copies
you
of it.
imagine? Let's just say they're talking about rockets and stuff like that, and I think they are.
But could you
Yeah.
imagine living back then and trying to talk about those things? Whew.
You'd sound crazy.
We sound crazy.
Yeah, we sound crazy, and they actually exist.
That
wow.
lion versus Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah 5,
Okay.
verse 6. Yeah.
You read it.
It says, chapter 5, verse 6. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. That
That's
lion,
a space station, man.
yeah, that leopard watching over their cities. When I heard that, as I was listening to it on audio, and I was like,
That's
"What?"
you know what it is? It's the fourth kingdom. That
Daniel
leopard,
7:6.
or the space station is probably like the fourth. No, that's not. It's probably SpaceX, but there's so many things that actually, when you read them, they're exactly the same. Like one example is in Enoch 18 when he's talking about these 7 transgressing stars. He says, "I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains."
Yep.
And then that's one time he compared the stars with great burning mountains. And then in chapter 21, he does it again. He says, where is it? And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. And then when I go over to Revelation 8, verse 8, John sees a mountain, or a great mountain, burning with fire being thrown into the sea. And then also in Revelation 17, John goes in the spirit to the wilderness, to a place where there's 7 mountains. And I'm like, yeah, those are bad mountains.
For sure.
And it actually says in that chapter that those 7 mountains, that those are the heads of the beast, the 7 heads. They are the 7 heads. So to me, the 7 heads on the beast are 7 transgressing stars.
That's interesting.
I think that's how. Maybe let me go to Revelation to double check that I'm not mistaken.
I never heard you say it like that.
Because
the 7 heads, and I think you said
something
on
like these. This is something about wisdom, and it says the 7. Here it is. And
Where you
here's
at?
the mind in Revelation 17, verse 9. And here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
Oh yeah.
So the woman,
Babylon,
is Babylon.
Yep.
And she's sitting on 7 mountains. And it says the 7 heads are those 7 mountains. So the beast has 7 heads. And man, this is crazy. So there's 7 stars that
transgressed.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out myself because I've never thought about it this way actually. Say, where is this part? So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so then down here it says, here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And then it says, this is crazy. It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition. That's the space station.
8th wandering star. Yep.
It's a wandering star. It's a transgressing star.
So you're saying that the scarlet colored beast is the ISS?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it
I got
is
you.
really scarlet color too.
I thought you were talking about 10 right here. It says, and there were 7 kings.
And
5
those, I think, oh yeah, go
are
ahead.
those are the space agencies.
They're the horns. They're horns. 7 kings.
Mm-hmm.
5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must
Oh,
continue to fill
okay.
space. So I think those are the horns. Where is it? It says somewhere in here that the kings are the horns, and right here. Verse 16 says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
And destroy Babylon.
For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth."
Babylon.
That's the solar system.
Yep. I agree. Totally agree.
And that's why we're talking about flat earth.
For sure. We're being shown true creation so we know God's in heaven.
Yeah.
And to get out of what the world's been involved in, rising up against them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm trying to like, yeah, and Babylon is a place for spirits. It's not a place for people. It's like it's a habitation of devils and a hold of every foul spirit. And we were also reading in Jeremiah, it's a dwelling place for dragons. Well, there's a SpaceX dragon that goes up and down all the time. Even if you think it's fake, you could still see that it's going up into the sky.
There's millions of people on SpaceX and NASA live chats that don't think it's fake.
No, they think it's the best thing that ever.
Exactly, and they're cheering it on.
Yep.
So what if it is what John was speaking of right here? That's why I go on there. You can't put Bible verses on there, but I try to put stuff in the comments.
Here's the thing that I've learned too, is that there's 12 people watching, and it's not going to be something that people take interest in. And I'm only saying that because like in is that in Ezekiel when he's talking about the rebellious house of Israel?
Yep.
How they kill the prophets and make their words of none effect.
None effect.
So I'm just thinking, like, I'm not saying
this ain't even about us.
No, I'm saying is that we're seeing this happen as it happens.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but
me neither.
It reminds me of in Daniel 7 when he says that the little horn was prevailing, or the mouth that speaks great things, or whatever it was prevailing against the saints till the Ancient of Days came and judgment happened. Like, so I guess I don't think they're supposed to quite understand maybe that there's an assault on the kingdom of God happening, right? The kingdom of heaven happening right now.
New Jerusalem.
And we know the outcome is not that the kingdom of heaven is going to lose.
The
outcome is that the saints possess the kingdom forever and ever. That's the outcome.
How do we get
there?
We're being put in that kingdom now.
Yeah, and how do we get there? By believing truth.
Yep.
Like
believing the word of God.
When you believe it, that's what Abraham did. It's the same promised land that Abraham had faith about. Same thing.
Yep. It took me a lot of years to realize that's what this is talking about. But yeah, I agree with you there.
Is that in Hebrews 11 or?
Yeah, Hebrews
11, I think.
I don't know what chapter it is, but yeah.
It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith." Okay, let's see. The faith of Abraham. Okay, by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise. Could we be sojourning in the land of promise right now?
Remember, it's a spiritual land.
But as we're on the earth, we're sojourning. That means we're Let me look up that word just to make sure my vocabulary is not the best. To stay
That
somewhere temporarily.
that apocalypse of Abraham. Oh my God, that had me so laughing when his dad, when he was making
when
those
he was
making
the
the
idols
idols.
and he kept knocking,
Yeah.
or the one fell down and he took his hat off when he lifted it up.
Abraham said, because the one made his fire to
It's like,
cook his food,
yeah, he's like,
with. He said,
oh, it's
he said that,
hilarious.
he said this God must be better than that God because that one made your food you're eating. I was
Yeah.
like, wow. I can't wait. I
can't
hope I get to
remember
meet these
that.
people.
We're gonna have to read that sometime again. That's
Yeah,
in the
that's a good.
Apocalypse of Abraham. Is that where that is?
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's good
hilarious.
stuff. Okay, so sojourning means to stay somewhere temporarily.
Temporarily. Yep.
Okay, so what I'm saying, look what it says about Abraham and the promised land, or what was it? It's called, yeah, the land of promise. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of that same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is God.
Oh. You said something in one of your older videos, and I remember I actually did a Facebook video about it. You said he soldiered in. Read that again. It had foundations.
Yeah, he said, for he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God.
And you said, is there foundations on a globe? And I said, wow, I never thought of that like that.
There's foundations on the flat earth, though.
On a flat earth. See, we're being put in this land, and Abraham.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're sojourning in the land of promise right now. We're temporarily, like, you know what? That in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, you know the interpretation where we were just reading about the 10 tribes or whatever that it mentioned?
Right.
Let me show you something else that it says there about just what we're talking about. Where is it here? It said that they went out. Okay, here we go. These are the 10 tribes taken captive from their land. Okay, and it says, but they made a plan for themselves. They would leave the multitude of the nations and go into a more remote region where the human race had never lived. There they would be able to observe their customs, which they hadn't kept in their own region. Like, to me, that just it just paints a picture of what we're experiencing. I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying totally. I see that.
But
I don't know how to put it in words, but
let me read more in this Hebrews 11 here.
Go ahead.
So it says, through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that, wow, dude, this is amazing, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is unheavenly, wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he had received the promises, offered up his own, or did I read that right? Oh, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So because of that faith, like without that faith, he wouldn't have even entertained the idea of doing that, offering up Isaac. But he knew that he trusted God. And so it would either been from the dead, or it would have been before he offered him up.
What chapter are you reading out right there?
Hebrews 11, I'm in verse 20 right now. It says, by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. So it's just going through the faith of all these people. At the very last verse says, and these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. I think that's saying that for the people who can see, like, that's amazing.
It's hard to put it in words.
These people had more faith than us. They had more faith than us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe we used to not have that faith, but maybe now we do.
Yeah, or it's yeah, you're right. I'm just saying that they had faith, but they never saw the promise when they were alive. They never.
Yep.
And I feel like I see it. So
that's just like when you're saying it like that. That's just like the salvation and grace that Jesus was speaking of. That they searched for it and never found it.
Let's read that. That's in 1 Peter, right?
I think so.
Let me.
That kind of connects to that, because he's searching for a city, and then they're searching for salvation and grace. I think it connects.
This part in 1 Peter 1, like starting in verse 3, is called a living hope. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. And then here's what you were talking about in verse 10. It says, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Christ, and the glory that should follow, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things, which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into. I should keep reading.
That's big.
Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Yeah, I like
at the revelation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's grace going to be brought to us at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
This is the grace that they searched for.
And the verse, the salvation that they have inquired and searched diligently. And it said, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you. That's pretty awesome.
For sure. I put that in Sean's live chat yesterday, because his wife was she was talking about salvation, that it comes when Jesus comes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I think that's happening now.
I do too.
I mean, they don't see that, but.
But you know what's weird is that they don't, but they do.
They're involved in it.
They're doing it.
Yep.
They're doing the thing. So that's what's so, it's pretty awesome to be able to see all the things that God is doing in these recent years.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, it's like if no one else, you can feel a little bit crazy too if you see some of these things, because it's like everyone around you's like, you're nuts.
I already know that. Tell myself that every day. Yeah, there's so much going on, man. So much going on. Been going on. Like, how much longer do we got?
Oh,
I don't think we
Jerry,
got.
I'm looking at the chat. Jerry
Go ahead.
Tree, he's trying to say that Buzz didn't say that we didn't go back, or we didn't go. Well, Buzz did say that. It was kind of weird the way he said it, but he did say it because we didn't go. And however you edit it, it doesn't really matter. On more than one occasion, Buzz has said that they didn't go, not just on that one interview, but either here or there.
What did they say on the space station? It's like we don't even know how we got here.
Oh,
it's like this isn't even happening.
Let's see if we can watch a video. Because I know I have that video somewhere.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. When God said he's going to send them strong delusion, it's going to be pretty strong.
Okay, let's watch this video. Ready?
Go ahead.
You're right, too, by the way. Okay, here we go.
Hard to believe that this is really happening. It's really real, and that we are up here applying everything that we've learned over the past several years. And when I was doing them, I definitely had no idea that this would be one day how it would all end up.
Honestly, sometimes we weren't even sure that it was real, but it was just an incredible experience. The Falcon 9 is an awesome ride.
It almost doesn't seem real. You could have convinced me I never went.
I'll tell you, it is still difficult to believe that this is happening.
I came back and my memories were there, but it almost didn't seem real. You could have convinced me I never went.
And believing that it could happen?
That it's hard to grasp it all.
How insignificant really we are as humans.
It almost didn't seem real. I think we tend to live in our bubble of our world that's here.
It's difficult to describe exactly how it just feels different.
So when you look at the Earth from that vantage point, I know others have said this, you don't see the borders. You don't see political borders, you hardly see geographical borders.
You know, we're so used to looking at maps or globes. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe. In low Earth orbit, you don't see a globe.
It is hard to believe that this is really happening. It's really real, and that we are up here applying everything that we've learned over the past several years.
The entire experience is actually very surreal. First, you're launched on a rocket. You're pulling G's as you're going out of the atmosphere. You're looking at the Earth for the first time. You're floating. Everything is different, and it just is all just such a different experience that
everything just floats. And sometimes that is really difficult to believe that it could actually be true.
It almost doesn't seem real.
It's so amazing and such an incredible feeling that it's difficult to believe sometimes that it's actually happening.
It almost doesn't seem real. In fact, when I did my space shuttle flight for 2 weeks in 2008, when I got back, you could have convinced me I never went.
Difficult to believe that it could actually be true.
You could have convinced me I never went. This experience is so unusual and so different than anything you've ever done in your life.
I didn't think that it would actually come true.
That it's hard to grasp it all.
And sometimes that is really difficult to believe that it could actually be true.
All right.
I definitely see some strong delusion in that.
Yeah, I like that video though. They're just like I just think that they're just trying to fool people. I think that they're unclean spirits, man. And people probably think I'm nuts, but I don't know.
So that the unclean spirits were up there, and when they broke in, they inhabited their bodies.
I don't know. I don't know.
You ain't never given a thought about that.
Think of it this way. if God came with an army of his elect, and like he said when he was praying in John 17, he was talking about two groups of people. He was talking about ones that he was going to send out into the world, that he said that they well, first of all, he prayed, sanctify them with the truth, and they received his word, and then he sent them out. He was going to send them out into the world, and he prayed for the other people that he didn't send out in the world. He prayed that they would believe in him because of what those people said that he sent out into the world. Like, if that is when he comes with 10,000s of his saints, how did those saints come into the world? They came into the world just like everyone else did.
Yep.
They're just people.
Yep.
They're just people. And so when I think of the astronauts, they have families here, children and wives and whatever. I don't understand it, but maybe it's the same way. Like they have a father of lies or whatever. But I don't know. I can't say. But
he put it in their heart to fulfill his will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's what we had in our heart. Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I know I did.
The Spirit of truth, he sent the Spirit of truth. Maybe when he did that, something else happened on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I really don't know, but let's see here.
Crazy times. Listen to this one right here.
It is.
This
is
is
crazy times.
Proverbs 29:16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increase, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Yeah, that's what it says in Enoch too, that they'll sink into or they'll be swallowed up into Sheol in the presence of the elect.
Of the elect, yep.
So they'll see it, or they'll watch it, or whatever.
I'll tell you, a lot of these things in these books are happening now. I know Mr. Tyler Doka, even though he's went a little crazy, but he said something interesting a couple weeks ago.
What's that?
That this book was written a lot. I'm not saying all of it was written, because there's the account when Jesus was here and setting up the disciples and all that stuff. So there's definitely
before it happened.
There's definitely some history in this book of when they were living then. But what I'm saying is, to me, this book's reading to me now. It's like it was written for this generation.
Yes, I agree, and that's what it gives you, somewhat of an explanation of how Jesus is outside of time.
For sure.
Like he looks at it, he's seeing it as one thing that happens or whatever, and we're bound in the time. So to us, we see everything with time, but to him, he doesn't have to.
Because some people they getting like, how do I say this? That was written for then. They're missing what's happening now. Like, I know me and you are kind of on the same page here. We're seeing this. Oh, that's happening now, and they're reading it as no, that happened before. That happened before.
Like an example of that is in Ezekiel 8 when he was taken up between heaven and earth to Jerusalem, to the visions of God.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was talking to Sean Griffin, he was like, no, that was then in the temple that they had then, and I was like, yeah, I agree, but this was a vision of the end that he was being shown. But like Sean didn't see it that way, which is fine. But
I hear you.
It's hard for me to think that was just talking about the wall of Jerusalem and stuff, when it's talking about being taken up to visions of God in Jerusalem between the heaven and the earth. That's where New Jerusalem is. I mean, That's the way I see it. And he was
Me
like, well,
too.
this was just happening, then to the temple then. And I'm like, well, I don't see it
I
that
think
way.
a lot of them, I love these people just like you do.
Yep.
I think a lot of them, like, how do I say this? They got together and they just started making these ideas up before the Spirit could really show them all these things they needed to show.
Mm-hmm.
And they already made their mind up that this is this and that's that. And I can hear it in Sean's tone. He sighs a lot. He's like, when you go against what he's saying. And I'm like, I'm not going against what you're saying. The book's going against what you're saying. Not on everything.
Well,
some certain things.
No, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not. It's hard. I'm just gonna go. No, I'm just kidding.
It is what he does.
But it's hard to. Like when Sean, like that verse where in Jude there that I brought up, or it's actually in Enoch.
18.
No, it's in the first chapter when it says he cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment. Well, that's in Jude. It says that, but I think in Enoch maybe it's not worded that way as saints, and I know Sean thinks of it as being like warrior angels. He says all the time, warrior angels, and I'm like thinking, well, that you could say that too, because what did Jesus say that we become? We become like angels. Like, so I could see that being either way.
I think that's why he said the kingdom of heaven is within you, or you are the. How does it say it?
He said I can't think of it now.
Because people go against that too. They're like, no, the kingdom of God is within you. You are the kingdom of God. But if you look at it that way, like the elect make up the kingdom. They're the pillars.
Yeah.
Then technically they are the kingdom of God. Like here on the earth, like you just said, with Abraham being placed in that land,
sojourning in the promise,
the promised land. So then he's already in the land and he's making up the kingdom. But I do think once what's going to happens, that up there is going to be down here or together, and then we'll be in the literal kingdom of God.
So Enoch 1 verse 9 says, and behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which have ungodly committed, and all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. I think that's happening right now too.
For sure. NASA, SpaceX, the globe, solar system.
Did I cut you off though? What you were saying?
No, I know what you're talking about with him, with Sean, about that video. I remember you.
He doesn't think that that's happened yet or is happening. He just says
it's gonna happen. Yeah.
He thinks it's gonna be some big show or something that like that where we see all these angels or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that
he's missing that
holy ones are his elect or whatever.
He's missing that there are spiritual things happening now that were written to happen.
Yeah.
To a certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks it's all going to happen at the very last day or whatever.
Yeah.
Missing that those people are here now doing what these prophets said they would be doing. I definitely see that, bro. I'm like right there with you on that. And I'm not saying
1 Peter 2 verse 9.
It's not about who's saved or not saved or anything like that, or who's better than who. It's not like that.
No.
It's just there's people that are mentioned that would be doing certain things, and I see them people doing them for certain things.
So 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but now are the people of God, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. That's just interesting to me.
Yep. Being pulled out of darkness, huh?
Yeah.
That's all that Isaiah one. Go ahead.
I didn't know I had the screen up like that. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I ain't even looking at the phone. The Isaiah 8:22. That's the one I was talking about. Because it's my birthday.
Oh yeah.
And they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness.
Let's go to space.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mars.
Yep.
Painting on Purpose says, maybe Buzz went to the moon in his world. We can make things seem to be true when we want what our flesh wants. You know what? There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. If like God did say when he went down to see the Tower of Babel, he said that with one language and one tongue, and we have Google Translate, by the way, you can just talk into your phone and translate it to whatever language. There's apps for that.
Yep.
So we do have one language and one tongue. But he said nothing would be restrained from them, which they imagined to do. So I couldn't say what Buzz experienced or not, but my guess is that Buzz probably experienced another world he called the moon. Man, that sound is horrible. I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh, I can hear it. I can see it on my phone now. Why is it doing that off and on? That don't make no sense.
See, what we did was Tommy got headphones to correct this problem, and when he plugged them in on StreamYard, it still doesn't play through the headphones. It plays on his phone, and we tried doing the settings and correcting it, and it's weird. It kind of started doing this. It kind of started doing it more as we've been on, so I don't know. But I do have to get going here. But yeah, we'll keep working on that audio thing for next time.
For sure. I need to get a laptop.
We didn't even get to Enoch 57, which kind of explains the title of this video. But what I'm going to do is, next week, if we do it again, let's start by talking about Enoch 57 and see if we can figure out what Enoch saw moving these pillars of the earth out of their place.
For sure.
So yeah.
As always.
So Tommy, thank you, of course, and thank you for everyone that hung out here. Jerry T, thank you for hanging out. And all you guys, Captain Caveman, and Gainer, Painting on Purpose, GR Cleve came. But yeah, I think it's great when people have conversation in the chat. It's good.
Always. I've learned a lot like that.
Me too.
Just listening to people go back and forth. Oh yeah.
And even just a lot of times I don't go in the chat, but I'm reading it,
Yep.
I'm saying not during my streams. I'm saying when I'm watching other people's streams.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you.
You can learn a lot from just watching the chat. But
I don't get to really talk to nobody, so.
you talk to Siri all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. I talk to God.
Good.
Actually, I look up at the sky now.
Good. That's
So sometimes I point at it, I know you're up there. Show me something, and then I pass exit 144. I'm like, oh, thank you.
No, you're like, show me something, and then you pass exit 144, and you're like, thank you, and then you're like, wait a minute, I was supposed to turn there.
The other day, it was something weird, and I was like, I said, blink the sun, blink it, make it blink if this is the truth right here.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, just turn that blink. Go ahead.
Love conquers hate. Welcome. What if the astronauts purposely showed themselves with the harnesses and all fakery to make you believe they're either not up there, so then you are thinking about what they're really doing? I never really thought about that. Because there's some strange NASA footage of stuff that looks fake.
For sure.
But that same footage, you'll show it to a person that's against the flat Earth. You'll show it to them, and they'll be like, "That's stupid. That's just his pinky grabbing this whatever." They'll make some thing about it. So that's interesting that you mentioned that. I never thought about it that way. If they're devils, they have sinister things that they're doing, and yeah, we all have to keep seeking the truth, I guess, is what I would say.
For
What do you
sure,
gotta,
sharing
what do you
it.
got to say before we head out?
Keep seeking and sharing. Stay humble. I don't think none of us are going to figure it all out. That's for sure. But there are people out there that need the information that you know.
True.
So try to get it to them.
No matter what that information is, share it.
That's it.
If you know, I think a lot of people feel called to share it and probably are. I mean, just even with just family and friends and whatever. I think think how God can work if he shows a bunch of people something and then they
What do you say about the seeds?
Yeah, like the
planting
parable
seeds.
of the sower. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Be one of those that plant the seeds, even if they don't take root. Oh well, go on to the next one.
Jerry T, you're funny. No, that's fine, Jerry T. If you disagree with people, tell them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And Celeste is very nice, but that's what the chat's for people to give their opinion and when they differ, talk about it. I think that's great. And maybe you're right. Maybe they don't want to admit it. Maybe not. But I appreciate that you come here anyway. That's cool. So yeah, Tommy, thank you. And so next week, let's talk about Enoch 57. And
oh yeah,
it is in the book of Enoch. We didn't put it there. Enoch did. So we didn't put it there. We're just going to read it.
For sure.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Maybe we'll all be here next week.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
hopefully they don't launch that thing.
There's still some time.
I've just bet I really have no reason specifically why I would be concerned about that other than it's bigger than anything they've done before. So that's what worries me. But who knows? So thank you, Thomas.
Peace and love to all. Appreciate y'all.
All right. We'll
Have a
see
good
you
night,
guys
Joe.
next time. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.